video is sponsored by the NSF, the QSTEAM Initiative, the Stage Lab, and the Pritzker School of Molecular Engineering. There you go, I think I got it. Hello everybody, today I'm here with my friend Swathi. Swathi, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Swathi. I am an incoming third-year graduate student in Professor David Oshalom's group at the University of Chicago.
Awesome, and what do you do in the lab?
So day to day in the lab, I do like a variety of different things, I guess. There's a lot of components and different parts into actually setting up and performing an experiment. So sometimes I'm working with optics or optical elements where we kind of like guide the path of a laser. Sometimes I'm doing simulations or data analysis using like computer languages like Python. Sometimes I'm working with cryostats, which are things that keep our samples and stuff really cold. Sometimes I'm actually working with our samples, doing nanofabrication. Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff. Right, so there's a bunch of stuff. These are lasers. So our lab uses tons of lasers. These are the lasers themselves, and these are like the control panels for them. We use these things called fiber optic cables that let light travel through them in order to actually send them to the setups. And these setups are what we use to actually, like shine the laser light on our sample in particular ways and then measure how much light the sample is spitting back out.
So what motivated you to even study quantum physics or quantum computing?
Yeah, well, I don't study quantum computing.
Okay, let me try that again. What motivated you to study quantum physics?
If, I go through the whole story, I became interested in physics as a subject in high school. But then as I moved through college, I started hearing more and more about, this new emerging, quantum field. Generally, when you build a setup, you're building it for a particular purpose, as in you're building a setup that is best suited to measuring the system that you are working with and measuring the things in the system that you care about.
I feel like one of the things, especially when I was a kid, is that I used to think, well, I'm not smart enough because there's just so many much more smarter people out there. And so how did you did you feel like you have to deal with that when you first got here? Did you feel like you had some sort of imposter syndrome, or did you feel kind of confident coming in with the background and skills that you already had?
I still definitely deal with the imposter syndrome, but when I look at where I'm at right now in grad school, I can see a bunch of things that I really need to work on. And I don't know if I'm better at those things than I actually think, but I kind of try to accept it as this is where I'm at right now, and it is okay that I'm here right now because I still have more time in the rest of my PhD to work on these things and get to where I need to be.
So do you feel like you have an idea of the things you need to work on, and so you say, okay, these are the skills that I need to build upon, and so you sort of make it a mission, I guess, to sort of strengthen those kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think day to day it's like if an opportunity to work on those skills comes up, then I'll take it.
Okay.
These sorts of optics are what you are shining the laser light through. If you look at this, that's our laser light shining through.
What advice would you give yourself in high school when you were thinking about, pursuing this career path? What would you have said to yourself? Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's less about academics and more about the environment. Especially in terms of being a woman of color in the field. All the things that you are, expecting about the environment, some things are going to be easier, and you are going to be able to find places that you are comfortable and places that you feel safe. But also, some things are actually going to be harder than you expected.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of strength and it takes a lot of energy to really fight the way that you want to. And sometimes you need to focus on yourself.
Yeah. The majority of people I run into, are easy to work with, end up being really close friends. And you're right, there are times when there are moments where you feel like, this doesn't feel like it should be this way. But, I think that sometimes just showing up as a person of color can have like a really big impact.
I agree.
Just being the one in the room, so take that. And then, and I guess one last thing, what advice would you give aspiring quantum researchers?
I would say go for it. If it's something that you're interested in, then definitely pursue it. I would also say believe in yourself. Quantum is not, in general, it's hard to, get into that headspace because it's not something that you see on a daily basis in daily life. But, it is possible to kind of understand what's going on, once you learn enough. So yeah, definitely go for it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. Well, that said, thank you so much for joining me and sharing your thoughts. I think it's very insightful, and I think it helps sort of demystify this whole field. I feel like sometimes it's shrouded in complexity, and you're like, well, that's not for me. And then you show up, and it's like, oh, well, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to say it's just a little quirky subsection of experimental physics.
That's perfect. What a great way to end that. Yeah, it's a quirky.